And then Mark, who was really spitting image of Bob, was also like 6'7". Big guy, big guy. And Mark was just, he was a political consultant. And he
I'm out here seeing things. Over in Rumford at the Rumford Baking Powder Company site. On a nice spring day. This has all been refurbished. Take a look at these nice blossoms here. And also the general factory here, which this section's kind of interesting. I don't know if they painted this white at some point or what happened here exactly. But it looks pretty cool. You can still see this kind of white residue on the building. And that's just one of many buildings here in this complex that's traditionally a baking powder company. That's why I started on that bust. I didn't want to be talking there because it's actually just the patio of a cafe. I don't want to be bothering people with having their lunch. But I wanted you to see that bust of Count Rumford, which used to sit in front of the public library. But the library was a very tiny branch and it got sold. They just consolidated the books, and anyway, you know, these days libraries are a little antiquated and not what they used to be. In any case, so the library became a house, and they rightfully put that bust over here at the baking powder factory, for which this little town was named, Rumford. It's a factory town. And, you know, they used to have, there's a lot of the buildings around here are what they would call like mill houses, like brick buildings. I live in one. They get converted to, you know, multi-use apartments, whatever. It's not factory town anymore. It's long gone. So the factory itself is all apartments. And I want to say they did that about 15 years ago. They converted this factory. A little more. They started longer ago than that, but they were mostly moving people in about 15 years ago. So, and, you know, of course, on the ground floor, they've got your cafes and restaurants. And that's about the size of it. This is mostly a residential town. There's not a ton of businesses. It's small. It's just housing. And so I just kind of started my journey there. In fact, I just noticed some signage across the street. They put those up a few years ago. I don't know how well you can see it. I'll have to probably get closer. It says Rumford National Historic District. I can't even see it on this damn screen. It's so small. Oh, there it is. Okay, and I'm getting a little glare. Anyway, it's a nice neighborhood for walking around. And mostly today, though, I'm here to just visit the cemetery with you. Here we can take a look back at the factory I just walked through. Old factory, that is. Otherwise, I am coming in here to the Rumford Cemetery, which initially here, this first part that we walked through is new. and current and being used. But it has quite an old section in it, and that's where we're headed. I rarely encounter anyone in here. There's a whole second cemetery across the street, which is not that exciting. It's, fairly recent. It's not much in terms of landscaping. This place isn't much in terms of landscaping. But this has some seriously old stones. And I really have not investigated it that much. I've maybe been through here 5 times, and it's been a while. So as you can maybe see from these different flowers and pinwheels and stuff, this is a current cemetery where people are getting visited. But it's also not very big, so it's not the kind of place people walk around a lot. It's maybe a cut through. I've cut through here many times. And it's a little afternoon on a nice spring day in mid-April. So if there's any workers, they're probably on their lunch break. There's a little tractor here, little John Deere plow thing. I don't know what you call it, excavator, digger, mini bulldozer. I don't know what the hell it is, but there's nobody in it. So now we come to the historic part, and you can see that this is really a churchyard, a church graveyard. And that building is from the 1800s, but this church was established in the 1600s, so there's some seriously old stones in here. And it definitely has a look about it. To the degree that it was scouted by Hollywood and used very recently. I want to say they filmed maybe a year ago, 2 years ago at the most. Scenes for, what the hell is it called? That Bette Midler spooky movie, the Disney thing, with the witches. I can't remember the name of it, but... a little bit of a breeze here. I can't remember the name of that movie. But anyway, I remember seeing them filming here, and I did watch the movie. And of course, it looks very different. You do see the church in the background. And they filmed at night, of course, and put in there dry ice. This is an interesting stone here with this fern. Some obnoxious woman here on her cell phone, yapping away. She's like yards away from me, and I can hear her. Anyway, this is cool. It does have a cool look. No question. So let's see what we can see. Sorry about the wind. Sarah Reed, daughter of Mr. Ona and Mrs. Sally Carpenter. 1827, age 2 years. This is a child's grave. Here are the Carpenters back here. John Kent, 1864. Wonder if that's a Civil War person. No, 83 years. He was not. He just happened to die during the Civil War. So he would have been born in the 1780s. Something like that. And this is alongside a busy road too. Daniel Daggett died 1799. So there is a Daggett house in a park. So Daggett is definitely a founding name in this town. And there's another Daggett next to them. Kind of hard to read, I'm sure. There we go. Bebe, wife of Daniel. She died in 1821. She outlived him by 22 years. These are a bit hard to read. A lot of lichen on here. Hunt, Peter Hunt, Sarah Hunt. There's a Hunt's Mill down the road. Probably that family. Hunt's Mills. Her life was marked by feelings kind, social, and benevolent. It's just one of these kinds of poems. Mary Drown, infant daughter of William and Lucinda Allen, died 1826, 1 year and 8 months. And here's the father. There's William. He's got an interesting angel up there, a bit of lichen. And I'm sure we'll see more. For example, here, this is an interesting angel. In memory of Molly Walker, wife of Timothy, 1791, age 33, so not very old. Born in the late 1750s. There's Timothy. George Walker, a pull-shooting son of a gun. That's isn't that the name that Jim Croce uses? I don't know. I might be mixing it up. Died 1818 in his 33rd year. A lot of folks in their 30s. William Walker, 1812, only 4 years old. Another infant grave. Ephraim Walker. This must be the patriarch. Or maybe not, just a brother, died 1819 in his 40th year. So, this is just the tip of the iceberg here. The older graves are out a bit. And they take some hunting, and of course they're super hard to read. It's like the dog walking cell phone woman has left, and I get the place to myself, as it should be. This is an interesting stone, very tiny. See how the camera adjusts to this. And hard to see. There's the skull up here. Camera sort of vacillating because of the glare. Well, you can see it. There's a skull up there. Hard to read that one. It says Mrs. Molly, in memory of Mrs. Molly of Mr. Daniel Ide. Wife of Mr. Daniel Ide. Died January 5th, 1781. In her 39th year. So, someone born in the 1740s. John Brown. John Brown's body, 1825. Age 81. So somebody born in the 1740s. This one has a QR code, so I don't have my phone, but you can scan it. Possibly, if I get in. You can get some more historical information and share it in the comments, because I don't know who these people are. Bridgham, Joseph Bridgham. These must be the parents of the first mayor of Providence. That's my guess. We visited Bridgham in North Burial Ground. Dr. Joseph Bridgham died 1810, age 70, so born in 1740. Getting a bit of glare on these. That's the wife there on the right. And this is the husband. He died 57 years old in 1789, so he's closer to being born in 1730. And this is an American Revolutionary grave of some kind. But definitely the parents or the grandparents or the great-grandparents of the first mayor of Providence, so some serious age here. Memento Mother. What an interesting carving. Great patina. Hard to read. Something, the daughter of Joseph Bridgham. So they've taken the time to put a few QR codes on these graves. Joseph Bridgham. Memento Mori, in memory of death or something like that. Died March 20th, 1776. 8th year of her age, so died at the dawn of the Revolution. Not sure who it is. In memory of Mrs. Abigail, widow. Must not be AJ, must not be a child's grave. 73rd, I don't know what I thought. 8. Just looking out to see if I can spot any more of those QR codes, but my guess is the flags here are going to be Revolutionary War soldiers or Civil War soldiers. So, for example, someone who didn't die in the war, but you see SAR, Sons of the American Revolution, 1775. This person didn't die until his 83rd year, whenever that was. But these are American Revolution related. This is an interesting stone with it's kind of a willow and urn carving up there. It says, "Pause, traveler, pass not with heedless step the spot here lie the relics of departed worth. This stone is sacred to the memory of Captain Daniel Payne and of Mary, his wife. The former departed this life at Port Omoa, Honduras, 1827. 45th year of his age, and the latter at Providence, 1830. And then a poem. So I don't know. It's quite a stark warning. I don't know why they really... Well, it's just maybe a way of commemorating and saying, take a moment to think of this person, which we just did. In memory of Bethia? Wife of Lewis Walker, who's over here. I really just like the font on these. Died young, age 41, this guy. 1805. There's some great looking stones over here in the corner. In memory of Mrs. Anna R. Lawrence, wife of George Lawrence, November 6, 1776. In year 26, not very old. Interesting. This one's held up well. John Starkweather, son of the Honorable Ephraim Starkweather, 1782. With wisdom mark the moment as it flies. Think what a moment is to him that dies. A lot of Starkweathers here. A lot of Sons of the American Revolution plaques. 3 of them at least. There's a lot to look at here. Not going to see it all. David Cooper, another son of the American Revolution, right there. This one's got an interesting, again, these kind of willow branches coming down. This place, I mean, I don't know what I say, it's in disrepair. It's not disrepair like North Burial Ground, it's just old. And I think they're making an effort. Obviously some of these stones need some help, but otherwise it looks reasonable here to me. Grass could use some help. It's not as well kept as Swamp Point, that's for sure. But I'm seeing some QR codes down here, so I can't hit every grave in this place. There's a lot of interesting stones. Let's take a look over here. Is this the one I already hit? This is Hunt, John Hunt? I don't know, I don't think so. This is the QR code if you want to try it. So again, this is the Hunt Mills people. I think I hit number 12 on the left. This one's interesting. Abigail Perrin, nice angel on there on the top. 1781. Death. Thought I saw more QR codes. Maybe it was just, oh no, they're behind me now. Oh yeah, they're all behind me. Okay, so now we're getting to the old part. This is sort of the old original cemetery. You can see sort of how close I am to the church. And this is all old original cemetery here to my left. And there's a lot of orange markers, numbered markers. So hard to read, and now in this case I'm facing the sun, but let's just see. I can't grab that QR code. This is Sarah Brown, I think, wife of William Brown of Providence. There's a nice carving here on the left side of the stones. This is like 2 stones in one. It might be hard to see, but it says, in memory of William Brown, son of so-and-so, Sarah, his wife, is a child. This is 74 years. 23 year. I don't know how old this person was. August 23rd, 1744, age 13. Okay. Excuse me. So 1744. So these are people who were born in the early 1700s, possibly late 1600s. tons of flags over here, so these must be all American Revolution. Let's take a look at one. Yeah. To the memory of Daniel Carpenter, Esquire, April 1823 in his 85th year. His rest shall be glorious. So yeah, lived to an old age, but probably served in the Revolution. If it's to believe, the flag is to be believed. There's no Sons of the American Revolution plaque there. Let's check this one here. Again, there's a whole section though. I can't hit every stone. Let's get the QR code on this one. Number 27. In memory of Captain Brazilii Bowen. Died 1808. The stone's quite worn. More Hunts. Again, Hunt's Mills, erected to the memory of Allen Hunt, Esquire, who departed in 1844. Hold on. Grab another QR code. More Hunts, all Hunts over here. Huldah Hunt, wife of Josiah, born 1771, died 1850. Well, all kinds of historic stones here, and now I'm going to go over to the original section, which I think is going to be almost impossible to read some of these stones. They're so old. They've been out here for 300 plus years. And, you know, they were probably kind of rough to begin with. Here's a whole plot for coal. Could also be American Revolution related. There's a plaque there. I don't know what it means. Let's see. I don't know this plaque. Doesn't have any marking on it. I mean, it has marking, but it doesn't have any writing. All right, let's see here. I've also got the Sun issue. Captain Timothy Ide died in 1735. That's that one. And someone here who died 1744. Mrs. Elizabeth Ide, widow, Captain Timothy. Yeah, there's some oldies out here. Now here, in fact, this is an interesting one with the angel on it. It's a couple. Wow, these are some early Chaffees. So Senator Chaffee, I've run into a couple times at North Point, and I met him in real life, but I was trying to get a year off this, and I'm not seeing it. But the angel on top is interesting. This one, 1732. M. Noah Chaffee. So very early founding fathers. And this Buckland, Captain George Buckland, 1810. John Buckland right here. Another interesting, kind of tough. I'm right in the sun with it. The angel up top. Getting serious glare here. Sorry about that. Just not happening. So a whole Buckland family plot. And I'm in like the wee corner here. And I just wanted to see there's another kind of family plot here. These are hard to read. weathered, and I'm pointing at the sun, forget it. Some carpenters. (1850s). And while I'm here, again, we can get another closer look at the church now. Here, while I'm here, I'm going to look at this corner, this grave in the wee corner of the place. Let's check out what this tomb is here. 1826. Eliphalet Slack. Colonel Eliphalet Slack. That's quite a name. I've never heard that name before. So there you can kind of see the other cemetery across the street, much newer. Ida Thurber, 1853. And this one in the wee corner, there's probably other graves here, there's just no stones. Brown Bowen, died in 1840. Just kind of this lone stone. So, we're in this old section, and I'm going to go look at these oldest stones now. Try to get on the other side of them, so I'm not pointing at the sun, but it might be challenging. These are all the back sides of these stones, but you know, these little ones are just kind of interesting, all piled up here by the tree stump. Let's see what we got out here. Here lies interred body of, can't read it, E-I-E-V Butterworth. 27th year, 1730. So, born right at the turn of the 18th century. These are going to be weathered. So, yeah, these are seriously weathered stones. There's just no inscription left on these things. Let's see what we have up here. Something daughter of William Brown. Ruth his wife, 1736 maybe. So again, beginning of the 18th century. Let's see what we got here. Some very weathered stone for John Hunt, but with a really cool looking skull on top. Maybe like a winged skull. And this one has a QR code. We can grab that. And a very old looking stone there. I can hardly read it. EH something. Maybe the QR code will tell you what that says. So as you can see, these stones, as I look out, there's just this kind of stray stones. It's all very weathered. John Shorey died in 1724 in his 50th year. So this person was born in 1676. So now we're getting into the seriously old graves. 1676. I mean, again, this place was founded in the 1630s. You're not going to see too many people. This person born, Philip Walker, 1679. Doesn't say how old, age 21, so 78. So born in 1858. And we get a QR code here. This is what I mean. If you're getting graves in the 1600s, it's seriously old. It's going to be one of the oldest graves in the state. and quite clear at that. As you can see, it says the stone's from 1879, so there is a kind of a remnant of a stone beneath it. That might be the original, and it's very primitive looking. So this is like an early 1700 stones, died in 1717 here. I can't quite read it. The wife of Robert, hard to read. Those are the kind of things you want to do rubbings. And they've got these capstones over here on a few of them. Of course, anything written on the top of those is completely gone. But again, you can see a super old stone here, definitely from the 1600s. Someone was age 21, don't know who. But that's what a stone from the 1600s looks like, at least around here. I mean, that almost looks just primitive. That's why, you go to Europe and you see a lot of stuff from the 1600s, and it's not primitive like that because they lived in cities and they had resources. This was rural. I can't read this. It's too angled, but you can get the QR code. Possibly. So, these folks were out here in the wilderness back then, living in harsh conditions, there's no doubt about it. And they would have made that stone themselves, or somebody in town would have done it, and it wouldn't have been too impressive. Alright, the camera's getting a little fixated. Let me just recenter. Come on, recenter. This is silly. Yeah, must be recentered. Here's a QR code. Joseph Buckland. Aged 84 years, died in 1718, so I can't even do the math, but that's somebody who was born like in the 1740s maybe. Let me show you that stone. Tough one with the sun. So yeah, I think you're getting the idea. So this one is quite prominent. Samuel Brown. They've rewritten it down here. Erected to the memory of Samuel Newman, not Samuel Brown, 1863. Original inscribed. So that's the Newman Avenue Church. Let's just see. So this must be the founding, pastors. See if we can get something on here. There you go. Samuel Newman, 1639 to 1663. Noah Newman, 1668 to 1678. So these are the founding. Then on to the Greenwoods. I walked in on Greenwood Ave. All the pastors of this first Congregational Church of Rehoboth, going back to 1639. So those are their pastoral years, not their life years. So the church was founded just 3 years after the founding of Rhode Island. Thomas Greenwood, one of the pastors here. So yeah, lots of interesting history. And then I haven't even gone into this part, which looks like, again, some of the oldest stones. They almost look like cavemen put them here. Look at the shapes of these things. These are primitive stones. This is a primitive looking cemetery. Let's just grab another QR code while we're here. For John Reed. Hard to see the stone. It's very dirty because of the position that it's in. And shadowed. Let's see a couple of these QR codes in this kind of primitive looking section. But again, so you want to see like one of these handmade stones. Someone who died age 65 in the year 1700. That is primitive looking. Nehemiah, son of Obadiah Carpenter, 1711. Just on the ground. And here we get another interesting skull. Here lieth the body of Nathaniel, son of Nathaniel and Rachel, carpenter. Died 1709, age 14. And again, primitive carvings here, 1710. $16.95, TRD. So context, I'd have to see what the last name is with a D. This is an interesting skull on here from 1817. Ezekiel, son of Ezekiel and Sarah Carpenter. I don't know how well you can see that skull at the very top. It's very faint. More carpenters, 1727, and this other primitive one, 1701, so born in 1676. And it looks like we got one more QR code, oh, two more. Because there's not much to see there on that marker. That QR code. Yeah, more primitive looking stones from the late 16, Nathan or Nathaniel, early 1706. Not sure who. So again, the QR codes would come in handy here. A lot of folks named Carpenter in this section. There's another QR code next to this really beautiful stone. Hampnahi, wife of Ephraim Carpenter. 1717. So, you get the idea. There's some seriously aged stones here. All beautiful in their own way with the patina and the carvings. Skulls, angels, willow trees. I'm kind of in the shadow here. Always tough when depending on the direction you're facing. Jabez Carpenter, 1778, age 79. Okay, more old looking stones. Here's one right in the ground. This is a seriously historic cemetery. Small, but packs a punch. A lot going on here. More over here in the wee corner. I've never gone over here. Again, look at the carving on this marker here, 1694. Just to give you some context again with the church in the background. Another QR code. Very good of them. Here lieth the body of Sarah Mason Widon, W-I-D-O-N. Rehoboth, Noah Mason. Died, D-Y-E-D, March, E10th. Oh, it's not a Y actually, it's the. That Y, I forget what that's called, but that Y actually is pronounced T-H. 17, 18, 19, it says 1718/9. So maybe the QR code will help. Angel, shadow, let's see what we got here. This looks, well, these look old too. More 1700s graves probably. 1724. Abby Smith, 18th year. Henry Smith, 1735. And I just wanted to see what was going on in this corner. There's some QR codes and the large Wilson stone. There is a Wilson Ave in this town. Here's Wilson Stone. But the QR codes are over here by these rather hard to read stones. Let's see. Anna, 80 years old. I'm always looking for the year. Hard to say. Didn't quite find it. QR code here. And who's this? This is going to be a tough one. Sherry. Huh. 1762. Interesting. That's an historic stone for sure. You do find that kind of language sometimes in these historic cemeteries, such as the nature of the time. So, a slave, an enslaved person, as I like to say now, is an old veteran. Olive Mason, son of Moses. So I bet you that QR code will give you some background into the slaveholding nature of that family and how common or uncommon it was back then. You know, I would say generally, this isn't the South, so it's pretty rare that you'll come across references to the enslaved. These are interesting looking. And, but that's not to say that they weren't up here. Most of them are probably in unmarked graves. But, generally, in the North, they were slave traders. They kept some. But we didn't have big plantations up here. And it's cold in the winter. And so it would have been much less practical to house people in the winter compared to the South. It's just part of the reason the numbers are down there. They had the plantations and the weather was a lot more temperate. But make no mistake, they made money. A lot of the old money in this area is based on the slave trade. You can look into the Wolf family. They're the big slave traders down in Bristol. The Brown family from Brown University. It was all part of that triangular trade. Swapping things out for, ships would go to Africa, pick up slaves, bring them here. They get processed and shipped down south. So, nefarious histories. That's what it is to look into history. You're going to read about people who lived in different times with different laws and different value systems. And it shouldn't be erased, because if you erase it, you don't learn, and you don't understand, and you make it more likely that that kind of stuff will happen again. Just checking out this stone here. So that was a nice little run through this Newman Avenue Baptist Church Cemetery with some seriously old graves. I hope you enjoyed that. Maybe we'll come back here again. There's so many graves. I might scan some of those QR codes myself.